there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shelby and today I'm going to be doing a review on a series that I've completed. It is a trilogy by Mila called the Come Back to Me trilogy. It has Come Back to Me, Stay With Me, and Run Away With Me. I just wanted to do an overview of the series as well as do an individual review of each book. I will link each book down below as well as my Goodreads if you want to check out my reviews for them that are a little more in-depth. I overall really liked this series, so I'm just going to hop right into all of the books. So the first one, like I said, is Come Back to Me, and it is a military romance. This one follows a girl who's just getting out of high school. Her name is Jessa, and she's had a crush on her brother's best friend since she was like 14, and her brother Riley and his best friend Kit have been in the military together for a few years. And they just came back from a 9-month deployment and they're back for about a month. And her and Kit haven't seen each other for a long time. And when he sees her, she looks a lot older. And he also has feelings for her. And they realize that they both have feelings for one another. And a romance kind of starts off between them. Even though Kit knows that he's going to be leaving in a month. So he doesn't want to start anything serious. So there's kind of like drama around it. And then also in the book, in the beginning, basically she gets one of the military people arrives at her door and she knows that someone has died in the military and it could either be her brother or her boyfriend. And basically it starts off with that, and then you learn the story of her and Kit. And so the whole time you're wondering, like, who is it who died, and you know that one of them is going to die and it's going to be really upsetting. So this was the first one and I absolutely loved this book. I thought it was so good. The romance was sweet, it was steamy, the drama was just enough and believable, and it did hit close to home for me because my husband's in the military, so I really did enjoy the military aspect of it, even though I think it might be they're in the Marines, so a little bit different than for me. But I really liked this one. I think this was my favorite in the series. It was 5 stars, so this is my absolute favorite in the whole series, and it works really well with the second book. So the second one is Stay With Me, and this one follows, her name is Dee Dee, and she is Jessa's best friend. So it's a companion novel, and this one is also a military romance. So it's a few years later. She is an intern for her dad who works at a military hospital. So she's like doing psychology, like a psych intern, and she's working with patients that are veterans. A lot of them are wounded warriors. So she's doing like psych there. So she's trying to see how they're feeling and make them feel better. She meets this one guy called Walker, and he is really grumpy. Everyone calls him Grumpy. He can't see. So you get to learn about his story, about like kind of how he got there. He was the leader of a group overseas. Everyone basically died but him and one other guy, and he blames himself for what happened. And his fiance, I believe, dumped him right when he got to the military hospital because he lost his sight and was basically useless to her. So basically Dee Dee is trying to get on his good side. She starts to develop feelings for him, and even though he's grumpy, he opens up to her. He starts to develop feelings for her, but it's super taboo because she works for the hospital, he's a patient, and some, you know, drama goes on with that. And then something really bad happens at the hospital and it kind of shakes them up. But this one was also super sweet. I gave it 4.5 stars. I thought it was amazing. I love how Mila writes these characters, and they're just enough damaged, but they have a lot of room in their heart for one another. So I really liked this one. And then the last one is Run Away With Me. This is also a companion novel to the other two. This one though, I think you can read especially out of order. So all of them I think you can read independently, but this one particularly because the characters have nothing to do with the other 2 books. This is the only one I feel like doesn't belong in the series. So it is not a military romance. The other 2 are, and they're companions. This one is completely different characters. This one is Emerson and Jake, who have been best friends since they were born because the moms met while they were in the womb. So they've known each other for years. They've been best friends, but then something happened when they were preteen, like 13 years old, to Emerson, and basically Jake leaves town with his family and it never gets addressed, and it ruins their friendship. So they haven't spoken in 7 years, and now it's 7 years later. Emerson's 20, he's 21 or 22 or something like that, and he comes back to her hometown for the summer, and she's vowed never to like see him again, and all of a sudden he shows up and rocks her world, and he starts working at the store she works at. She's been stuck at home. She never went to college. She helps take care of her dad who has multiple sclerosis, and she just never went to college or anything. So she starts working with him, and they don't get along. She still is mad at him for whatever happened back in the day. And it kind of jumps back and forth between past and present, revealing what happened and then how they're handling it now. And it's a romance that, you know, kind of brings them together, and she kind of brings healing to herself for what did happen, and they both carry guilt from it, so they both start to feel better. I really liked this one as well. I didn't love the character of Emerson quite as much. I really liked Jake, and I felt like I said this one didn't really match the series. So I feel this is really great if you want to read one of the books standalone. It's a great book, but I definitely don't think it needs to be read in order with the other two. The other two definitely have similar characters. You kind of get a feel for what happened in the first book and the second. But this one, I don't really understand how it ended up in the series. I gave this one 3.5 stars just because it was not quite as enjoyable. So overall, I think the series is probably about a 4.5 stars. This one is just kind of out of place. I'm a little confused because Stay With Me and Come Back With Me, Come Back to Me, these ones definitely go together. So the characters and the fact of the military romance, I'm just not really sure how she came up with Run Away With Me. But what made me like it a little bit more was she had an author's note at the end that explained about the book and why it was so personal to her, and it made me like it even more. But definitely wasn't a favorite. I liked the series overall. I thought it was a great new adult romance, so it deals with people in their early 20s, late teens, and there's a lot of like sex and just like drama. It was great, and I really did like it, but I would say that Come Back to Me and Stay With Me are the two part of the series, and I feel like Run Away With Me is kind of separate. I wouldn't say you definitely need to read it to understand the series as a whole, but I really do enjoy it, and I got most of them off of Book Outlet, so you can always go on there and see if they have them for a good price. So overall, I really enjoyed this series, and I want to read more by her. I'm not sure if she has any other publications out. I think she might write under another name, writing wise, so not really sure. But yeah, I really enjoyed this series. Like I said, I'll link all the books down below. Let me know if you've read any of these books or anything else by Mila Gray, and if you have any questions, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.